Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 68 of Winning the Division. This is Ryan Smith, your co-host, alongside former NFL tight end Ben Troupe of the Titans, the Raiders, and the Bucks. Two of those teams played each other this week, Ben. Your former teams. We'll get into that and more. A special edition of First Things First. We'll start with our players of the week and not so players of the week as usual. But then before we get into that really quickly, I wanted to discuss, as you talked about prior to coming on the show, college football coaches are getting fired left and right right now. And I just want to present the floor to you. I mean, Brent Pry, Virginia Tech, UCLA's Deshaun Foster, Oklahoma State's Mike Gundy, James Franklin of Penn State, is obviously the latest and most notable one. You might have others on the way. It sounds like there's a lot of coaches that are still on the hot seat. So in this NIL portal era, what is your reaction to these firings? I mean, because I know Penn State, is not on the same level as, let's say, a UCLA football. But like, what's your reaction to these firings? Some of them coaches in their first or second year, and obviously in Franklin's case, he's been there for a long time, but didn't deliver a national championship. But always could recruit pretty well. So, like, what's your thoughts, real quick, on these firings?
I think it's a sign of the times. I mean, James Franklin should let everybody know no one should feel safe right now because he came over from Vanderbilt to reinvigorate the fan base of Penn State. He did it. Bring Penn State back to the national conversation. He did it. This is a man that was in the college football playoff semis last year.
Yeah.
He was a win away from playing in the national championship. But I think that's what also hurt you, though, Smitty. Sometimes when I show you my full potential, meaning this is as good as I'm going to be, it's time to move on. And it's not that you lose, it's who you lose to. You can't lose to UCLA who's undefeated. I mean, who hasn't won a game. You're talking about Northwestern. So and you mentioned Virginia Tech. You mentioned UCLA. Sorry, you mentioned Oklahoma State. I also got to add another one. Arkansas, also out there.
I was going to go ahead and go through the rest of my list here. I got it up now. Sam Pittman from Arkansas fired. Oregon State fired Trent Bray over the weekend out there in Corvallis. And then Trent Dilfer of the UAB, former quarterback, got fired today. That was the other one. And then South Carolina fired their O-line coach. That's just a brief one. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, thoughts on so that's essentially your thoughts on is there any name that specifically sticks out to you? Obviously, Franklin's the big one. And do you think any of these guys land on their feet in another job?
I mean, Coach Franklin gonna be highly sought after. Really, I mean, Mike Gundy is another guy. I mean, spent a lot of years at Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State is not at the same level, as a Oklahoma, right? Mm-hmm. Just like an Oregon State ain't on the same level as an Oregon. UAB, University of Alabama at Birmingham. Trent Dilfer was a feel-good hire, but feel-good hires have to become real good hires at a certain point. Never, ever really turned the corner.
He was a good high school coach, but he played in the NFL. But
I will say this, Smitty, something to me you talk about a lot. Me being a former football player doesn't give me more clout than anybody else. Just because I played the game doesn't mean, one, I can analyze the game. Number two, doesn't mean I can coach the game. Now, I get why you would try to go that route. Trent Dilfer brings more credibility, notoriety. He understands scouting. He understands everything that UAB was lacking. He understands it. But you got to win. You got to win. And I will say, the thing about it, you mentioned Penn State, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, Oregon State, or UAB. They won't be the last. It's going to be more coaches get let go because I think it's not National Signing Day and recruiting anymore. It's early signing day in December. So now 2026 signs in 2025. 2027 going to sign in 20. You're still going to have National Signing Day, which is the first Wednesday in February every year. But in order to keep my current recruiting class and also be able to go out there and talk to those players, a team like Arkansas, a team like Oklahoma State, and a team like Penn State, maybe even Virginia Tech, and they can't get coaches that were really, really good coordinators. They got to have resumes that resonates with this fan base, with this current crop of players because Smitty, it ain't about the players. It ain't about the players that's coming in. You want to keep some of the players you got, so they try to get out there real early. We'll see if some of these interim coaches can actually become head coach because if people forget, that's how Dabo Swinney became the head coach of Clemson. He was an interim coach really well. They made him the head coach, and obviously the rest is history.
Yeah. Let's get into now our first things first segment, players of the week, and not players of the week here in the NFL season. All right, I'll go first. Baker Mayfield is my player of the week. I mean, I know he's in our division as Falcons and Panther fans, respectively, but he is continuing to put on this moxie that he showed at Oklahoma and obviously during his time in Cleveland when he first got into the league, when people accused him of being cocky. 17-23, 256 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he missed Emeka Egbuka after the third quarter. So he was a man amongst boys out there. San Francisco still starting Mac Jones, obviously, so they came up short there. But Baker Mayfield was absolutely diabolical. He had that run, I want to say, in the second or third quarter where he looked dead to rights, and he just it would look like prime Cam Newton without the he's obviously not as big as Cam was. That was about the only thing missing. He was taking hits and he was making people miss. I mean, Baker was just a man amongst boys, like I said out there. He is my player of the week among the NFL. And then my not player of the week, I'm just going to give it to a team, Ben, as a whole. The Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I know Lamar was out. I get it. But they're 1-5. Ben, I do not know. I don't think Lamar can solve this. I mean, their injuries are so bad at the defensive side of the ball, and their offense is not gelling. Todd Monken's got his work cut out for him there in Baltimore. There are people talking about John Harbaugh's job on the line. They're in Baltimore. That's what I'm hearing. So, what are your thoughts on? So those are mine. If you want to get into yours, but yeah, I mean. It's stunning. I had the Ravens probably going to the AFC Championship at the worst going into the season, and 1-5. I just don't know if you can come back from this after those injuries that they've had.
If they do come back this year, they will. If they do make it to the playoffs, they're gonna be one of the last teams in. I know they got to get a lot of guys coming back healthy. I want to say next week. I want to say I know Lamar. I think he's supposed to be coming off the injury bug. I mean, you start talking about, the middle linebacker and different. But even with those guys coming back, you lack that much depth at the quarterback position. I get it. Rush, easy. Cooper Rush is doing all he can. But what about everybody else?
Yeah.
Cooper Rush don't play defense. Show some the Ravens moniker is play like a Raven. They are not doing that in 2025. We will see what the rest of the season does. But yeah, it's hard to watch a team fall like that, Smitty, because you're like, dude, like Lamar is out, I get it. They linebackers out, I get it, but I mean, you still got a bunch of guys that's there. I don't know if Isaiah Likely is back yet. He's definitely gonna add to the offensive side.
I'm sure about that one, yeah.
But it's just hard to watch because you're like, what is going on? It's like so these guys we're talking about, they don't play special teams. You still got the bulk of your defense.
Right.
And Lamar, we know how much Lamar means to the offense as well as the team. I think that a guy like Harbaugh is safe, but I think what's going to hurt Harbaugh is not so much this year. The previous year is being one and done in the playoffs, not really going deep into the playoffs. His resume ain't that of Mike Tomlin, but it ain't far off when you talk about what he doesn't do in the postseason. So they will be. And sometimes, as we talk about a lot, sometimes your message has grown sour. What worked with Ray Lewis and Joe Flacco and Haloti Ngata and those guys might not be resonating as much with Lamar and some of these guys coming into the league because they're saying, okay, you got to switch it up. Look, adaptation and is what's going to save and serve us all. When we choose to not adapt and adjust, we become dinosaurs. So we will definitely be watching what's going on with the situation in Baltimore because it is a sad one to watch unfold in front of our eyes at this point.
And then who are your winners and losers of the week?
Listen, my player of the week is Bryce Young. And the reason why I say it, Smitty, is this. I always talk about what makes Bryce Bryce. And I said when the chips are down, he is at his best. And you got to see it. This was a back and forth affair between them and Dallas. I mean, it's not like Dallas laid down. It was a back and forth affair. And George Pickens, if you have not realized yet, is a grown man.
Yes.
He's one of the best receivers in the league. But
I have my own thoughts on that. We'll get to that when we get to the game.
When you guys was down, it's like Bryce Young has that. He has that I call it the Bryce smirk. He kind of look over his shoulder and go, "All right, let's go play." And listen, shout out to Ted McMillan. I mean, 2 touchdowns. I mean, everything showed up. But Mr. Rico Dowdle, I'm sorry, man. Like he's emerging as one of the top running backs in the league. Now, Bijan Robinson is already going to be there. You know, you got Derrick Henry, you got Saquon Barkley, you got, what's his name out there with the Colts? I always miss his name. The Colts running back.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. He's right there. He's right there. And I don't want to. He doesn't have the star power name yet, but with what he's doing, and I mean, my 1B is I'm sorry, man. I know it was on Thursday night, but Cameron Scatterboo. Scatterboo had 3 TDs, and he did what he wanted, how he wanted against the Eagles.
I almost put him as the second, but I decided to go 1 this week. He was outstanding.
And you mentioned not teams. I mean, this is the easy. The Titans. I know they let go of Coach Brian Callahan today, but Smitty, I don't know what type of frustration you used to go through watching. Your Panthers offense sometimes. Like,
the Matt Rule era did enough for me. The Matt Rule era did that for me.
It's hard to watch the Titans offense sometimes. You're saying to yourself, what is going on? Or what isn't going on? Because at first you knew Brian Callahan was out when this happens. Your first year, you got Will Levis. May God bless us and help us all with Will Levis. But you were calling the plays. So you bring in Cam Ward, and after about the 3rd game, you realize it's not working. Then you relinquish your play calling ability, and it gets worse. So not winning is one thing. Not performing is another thing. Not executing at all? No. We can't have that. They're not executing at all. So, yeah, I would go with the Titans because they got to win. They also play the Browns this year. I don't think they play the Jets. But they play the Browns this year. It's going to be a brawl for it all when the Titans play the Browns. Fortunately for the Browns, they got Myles Garrett. But I'm gonna go with the Titans. That's my because within 1 year last year they got rid of my former teammate Rand Carthon, a general manager, and then this year they're getting rid of Brian Callahan. When you starting over, new GM, new coach is coming in, new scheme, new team, new culture. And sometimes a team like the Titans that don't really got a culture, that's what takes the longest when you're trying to build something they haven't really had since what? Mike Vrabel left? So we'll
ironically, he's coming back this week. Ironically speaking, they do that.
And you know what? That happened last year too. They get rid of Malik Willis. He goes over to Green Bay. Green Bay comes to the Titans. Now Mike Vrabel's coming back. So a little get back is on the menu, especially coming off a big win against New England. They played the Saints. So I don't know if you would call that a big win, but you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's get now into our game recaps of the week, and we'll just kind of analyze each game as we always do. Monday Night Football, Week 6, almost over. Your Falcons. I'll just give these scores for the listeners in case they aren't able to see the game or I'm just living under a rock currently. Falcons. You heard me right. Falcons are beating the Bills 21-14 now. The Buffalo got the ball first in the second half and just went right down and scored. So it's 21-14 Atlanta midway through the 3rd quarter. And then Bears have a 13-7 lead on the Washington Commanders there in D.C. about midway through the 2nd quarter. That game started about an hour later there on ESPN. So 2 games to wrap up Week 6 here right now in progress. But here's our recaps from the games that are completed. Let's go back to Thursday night. You said it. Cam Scatterboo and company 34-17 over the Philadelphia Eagles. The New York Giants get the huge culture builder win. Giants rookies Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart ran for scores on Thursday night. The last time Giants had 2 rookies with 1 or more rushing touchdowns in the same game was Week 10 in 1980 versus Dallas.
I'm sorry with the Giants, even though they were the victor. I mean, you mentioned Jackson Dart, 17-25, 195 yards and a touchdown. Scatterboo, 19 rushes, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jackson Dart also had 13 rushes, 58 yards and a touchdown, 5 touchdowns. You know, we talk about through the air as well. You talking about Wandale Robinson, you're talking about 6 for 84 for 1 touchdown. But I want to go to and I appreciate the fight in Scatterboo and Jackson Dart, that defense. I mean, Brian Burns, I always got to go check to see how many, because I think he might be leading the league in sacks right now. Brian Burns had 2 sacks. On Monday night. But this is about the Eagles. So no Jalen Carter. No Jalen Carter, which hurts. Jalen Hurts, 24-33, 283 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Once again, Saquon Barkley, 12 rushes, 58 yards. I don't know what's going on this year. People downplay. You know how everybody was saying that Caleb Williams and company got to. I mean, I'm sorry. The Detroit Lions get rid of, Ben Johnson. They get rid of Aaron Glenn. They get rid of their coordinator. Kellen Moore not being the coordinator for the Eagles is showing, and no one wants to talk about it. Saquon Barkley has been very, very normal. Dallas got it. 9 for 110 in the touchdown. A.J. Brown had 6 for 80. Jalen Hurts had 7 rushes, 13 yards in the touchdown. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles. The Eagles did not look like the defending world champs. They got beat up. They got pushed around for 4 quarters. And 2 of those guys were rookies. Mm-hmm. So if you are the Eagles, no, you don't hit the panic button, because it's not a panic button. But the thing about it, Smitty, it goes back to what Cam Newton said about Jalen Hurts. He is an incredible football player.
Yeah,
he is a game manager. He is not a game changer. Then every time you put him in a position like this, and I'm not saying that the Giants are going to be world beaters. They're going to be scratching and clawing the rest of the year to even, make sure if they are going to be a potential, which I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think for the Eagles, you got to start asking yourself, who are we for real? Like last year, we could lean on Saquon Barkley so much that it just opened up everything. Well, if you got Saquon Barkley as your fantasy running back, you kind of heated right now.
You're kind of heated, yeah.
So I think this is more about never ever taking away for Brian DeBoer's doing. Everybody thought that when he went to Jackson Dart, he was kind of throwing, he was kind of throwing the towel for the season. No, Jackson Dart is 2-1 in 3 starts. He's 2-1 in 3 starts, and two out of those 3 wins were the Chargers and the freaking Eagles. So shout out to them young G men. Hey, they handled their business against an NFC East rival, and dare I say, they had the better of the Eagles on Monday night.
And real quickly, would you say this is a situation that's very similar to the Brian Johnson situation from 2 years ago, where like with Kevin Patullo, they ended up getting rid of Brian Johnson at the end of the year after one year, and I think they did defense and offensive coordinator as well for that year, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think this is kind of a similar situation? It's simply just the play calling's not working, and it's not the talent, obviously, or is it something? Is it more than it's just that?
No, I think that's where it starts, because you know how it is, Smitty. Whenever we go into somebody new, they're gonna go to the new guy first, because a lot of these guys are proven. Saquon Barkley ain't not learned how to run the football. Lane Johnson ain't not figured out how to open up holes and block for Jalen Hurts.
Correct.
I think you have a play calling problem. I think you have a spread the ball around problem, and no one wants to say it. You might have a Jalen Hurts problem. When I say Jalen Hurts problem, are you asking him to be something he's not, or is he comfortable being what you asked him to be? Because teams are going to look at this and say, okay, are we really going to be looking at Jalen Carter not being there helps, but Jalen Carter really hasn't been playing, at an all-pro level all year either, even when he has been healthy. I think you just got to go back to the drawing board and see what works, what doesn't work, and get back to executing, because every team is going to play the Eagles tough because they're the defending world champs, and people just put them right back in the NFC Championship game. Which, looking at the Lions and looking at the Bucks, I'm just saying. All
right. Sounds good. Okay. We'll keep it moving. I just wanted to get that question out there. Yeah. All right. In London, the Denver Broncos get rid of the New York Jets and keep them winless, 13-11, as it was the Broncos' 9 sacks, most in a game by Denver since week 1 in 1996, also against the Jets. Denver has 30 sacks through 6 games, tied for the most sacks through a team's first 6 games since 1990.
This game, I don't know what's going on with the Jets and the Broncos like the last 3 or 4 years, but these games have been ugly. No matter who the head coach has been, no matter who the quarterbacks have been, no matter who the coordinators have been. But Aaron Glenn comes out and defends Justin Fields. I mean, only he can do it. And Justin Fields was 9 of 17 for 45 yards. You heard that right. He was 9 for 17 for 45 yards. Obviously, and you talk about Bo Nix was 19 to 30, 174 yards and a touchdown. This game came down to defense. I mean, the Denver Broncos defense did what they wanted, how they wanted, all night, all day long. And if you are Aaron Glenn, no, Aaron Glenn should not even be in consideration of being fired. But what you should be asking yourself is, what is our identity? Because right now you don't have one. The Broncos understand that when the Broncos, the whole division is wide open. Kansas City, Chargers, and Bo Nix is not talked about for how good of a rookie season he's had, and he's not having a sophomore slump. Sophomore slumps only matter when you're not winning. I don't care about box scores. I don't care about stats. Are you winning? And the thing about the Jets right now, if the first question to Aaron Glenn is, are you thinking about making a change at the quarterback position? He said, for what, Aaron? Don't say things like for what, because we can see. We're watching these games. And if you are London, they might know what they're looking at. I'm not saying they don't. They were like, dude, what is this? What is that? But shout out to the Broncos finding a way to get an ugly win against a team with the Jets, who the Jets are going to get a win. I don't know against who, but if you are Justin Fields, you are playing for your football life. Like, I know you signed a multi-year deal, but the draft is coming, and free agency is among us in 2026. And if it's going to be looking like this, it's going to be a long year for the Jets either way. But that was ugly. That was beyond ugly. And I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn. I mean, he was a good player, really, really good coordinator, for the Detroit Lions. But what has been built around you is not what you have to build on your own. Dan Campbell built Detroit with y'all. You got to build the Jets with your group. And right now, it ain't crumbling down right now. But that other team in New York or New Jersey or whatever you want to call
New Jersey, yes.
They ain't looking like the laughing stock right now. Y'all are. So they the only winless team in the league right now.
That would be my Carolina Panthers, who play the Jets and coming up in week 7. But we'll get there in our week 7 preview in a little bit of time. Let's go to Baltimore, where the Ravens get dominated 17-3. Game was lowest scoring, but it seemed like the Ravens were never in this game. Ravens failed to score a touchdown in a game 4 times since drafting Lamar Jackson back in 2018. All 4 of those occurrences coming when Jackson either did not start, didn't play, or left with an injury.
We talked about it when the show first started, Smitty, but I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. I mean, Cooper Rush is giving y'all 11 to 19, 72 yards and a pick. Huntley comes in 10 for 15, 68 yards. I mean, Derrick Henry had 24 rushes, 122 yards. Zay Flowers 6 for 46. But, I mean, I know Puka Nacua, I mean, he went out with an ankle injury. I know he's going to miss a couple of weeks. I mean, Matthew Stafford, 17 to 26, 181 yards and a touchdown. There is 0% chance that the Rams are going to lose this game. That's how bad the Ravens are. It wouldn't have mattered what the Rams did. They were going to beat the Rams. And we have gotten to a point where, Smitty, that what is up in Baltimore? Injuries happen. It's going to happen. There is somebody going out for the year every week of the season. There's somebody going to miss games every week of the season. Derrick Henry is still playing. I mean, people say, well, who played? I mean, the thing is, Derrick Henry still played. Zay Flowers still played. Mark Andrews still played. Roger Hopkins still played. Bateman still played. Isaiah Likely played on defense.
And they got Ron Stanley at left tackle. They got their blindside guy. Yeah.
And for some reason, the Ravens just aren't playing good football, and it's hard for us to come to terms with the reality of the Ravens are bad. And Lamar going to come in and do his best Superman, impersonation when he come back. He don't play defense. And the Ravens defense, as bad as the offense is, the defense is even worse. The Ravens defense is like bottom feeder. They might be ranked last in the league. So
and part of that is injuries, and then part of that's also
it's gonna be intriguing to watch. But I never thought I would see the Ravens. I never saw I would see the Ravens fall off like this when you got a lot of your main stars and mainstays still out there.
Yeah. In Charlotte, my Carolina Panthers take down the Dallas Cowboys 30-27. Rico Dowdle's 239 scrimmage yards, most by a player in a game versus a former team in NFL history. Rico Dowdle told the Cowboys to buckle up and they were not buckled up, as he said after the game. Does this spark a running back one debate, Chuba Hubbard versus Rico Dowdle, according to some Panther fans? I personally think no. I think this is a D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart type thing from back in the day. Double Trouble, Thunder and Lightning is what they were called. A new name, obviously, for Hubbard and Dowdle. The law firm of Hubbard and Dowdle, I don't know. What is your thoughts on the game, and then obviously the RB1 discussion?
Well, I say this is my game of the week. When you look at how the game went back and forth, I mean, Dak Prescott, he's still playing at the MVP level.
Still playing at a high level, yeah.
He really, really did. But what I can appreciate about the Panthers is we always talk about this. Can you build off a win? Is it just a win with no momentum, or is it a win? This is what momentum does. What winning does, it breeds confidence. Bryce Young, 17 to 25, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Right, and the pick was iffy. That was more Ted McMillan, yeah, than Bryce. But you talk, but Ted McMillan though. I mean, 3 catches, 29 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, I'm in the zone. Touchdowns or first downs, I'll take one or the other. Or I'll take both. I think that the one of the best duos in the league when they come back is going to be CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. They are dangerous, really, really dangerous. But I'm as much criticism as Bryce Young get, I'm gonna give him praise when it matters. Bryce Young, they were behind and he had to make a fourth quarter, and he did it. 9 career wins, 8 of them are comebacks. Guess what? When you play rail around Bryce Young, look at what he can do for you even in the clutch. That's what you're supposed to do. And I'm always talking about the supporting cast because nobody on the Panthers has more pressure on them more than Bryce, other than Coach Canales. He's the only person got more pressure on him. And Coach Canales looks right when Bryce is right. Coach Canales looks wrong when Bryce is wrong. That's how it goes. Head coach and quarterbacks join at the hip. But when Bryce is right like that, Coach Canales, that's when because when you watching Smitty, you're saying to yourself, okay, can we go? This was a heavyweight fight. They punching each other for folk. This is great football. Now the defense, hey man, you're gonna have days like that on both sides. Yeah. But when
this is the top 3 offense of the league.
So I give Bryce a lot of credit because Bryce is saying, look, I'm gonna make sure. I keep saying this. Bryce is saying, if I'm not gonna be the reason we win, I refuse to be the reason we lose. I'm not gonna be the reason we lose. Put me in position. Give me a chance and watch what I do. They gave him a chance, and him and Dak going up to each other after the game. Like I said, Bryce Young needs wins to build confidence, and the more wins he get, the more confidence he builds. If you don't think confidence matters, even though we ain't got to him yet, ask Baker Mayfield in the Bucs what winning does for the quarterback position. It gives them more confidence to make those plays. Now, you're gonna be able to take some of them hits.
Right.
One time. But shout out to your Panthers, man. It was my game of the week. It was an incredible game.
Yeah. Let's keep going to Indianapolis. They emerged victorious 31-27 over the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have now lost 4 straight games. Colts 194 points scored through the first 6 weeks, most by an Indianapolis team in the Super Bowl era since the 2007-led Peyton Manning Colts.
Your Arizona Cardinals, I'm gonna give Jacoby Brissett a lot of credit. 27-44. That is a lot of throws, by the way. 320 yards, right. 2 touchdowns and a pick. Didn't really get anything. I mean, Carter and Knight and Brissett, they didn't really give anything with the running game. I mean, Jones had 5 for 79. McBride had 8 for 72 with a touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 2 for 32. I think he left the game with a concussion. But this is about the Colts again. Now, this came down to the wire too. Mm-hmm. This was not. I mean, when you look at people like, wait a minute, are the Cardinals about to beat? Nope. Because Daniel Jones saying, no, I play with confidence. 22 of 33, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Taylor, 21 rushes, 123 yards, 5.9 yards to carry, 1 touchdown. Daniel Jones had 5 of 20 and a touchdown. The Colts are learning how to play and win ugly. Sometimes you go into a game, you think the opponent is inferior. And this is just I'm not saying that's how they're looking at them. And the Cardinals gave them everything they could. And sometimes your best just come up short. The Colts are like, hey, we got to be able to learn how to win. Running the football, throwing the football, defense, and running away with it. And sometimes playing 4 quarters. This was the 4. Real similar to Carolina and Dallas. I mean, whoever had the ball last had a chance to win it. The Colts had the ball last. They marched down the field. They got so incredible football game. Daniel Jones, I'm sorry, Indiana Jones is what they call him, is playing out of his mind. And Anthony Richardson, what do you?
Oh, I wasn't even going to bring that up, but yeah, as a Florida,
I'm just saying, like, listen,
eye injury, orbital socket before the game. The band warm up.
We happy you all right. You're gonna miss a couple of Anthony. Come on, man. Like, what are we doing? You're on the injury report because of warm ups. Come on, man. But shout out to them Colts who see what's going on in Jacksonville and saying to themselves, we trying to build distance in this division because it's probably gonna come down with the Texans playing a little better now. But the Colts, man, they wanted to feel good stories, if not the team to beat in the AFC right now.
Well, speaking of Jacksonville, they lost at home. The Seattle Seahawks come all the way from the Pacific Northwest, one of the longest flights from Seattle to Jacksonville for an NFL teams to make. 20-12 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars there in Duval. Seahawks have run the ball one more time than they've passed the ball this season. So Seahawks establishing that run with Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and Sam Darnold doing his thing there in the Pacific Northwest.
Sam Darnold, 16-27, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jackson Smith Enigma. If you haven't figured out yet, he's really, really good at football. You might want to start doubling him. 8 for 162 in a touchdown. AJ Barner 3 for 71. You know, Cooper Kupp, even got in the action 2 for 40 in a touchdown. But then you go over to Trevor Lawrence, 27-42. That's a lot of throws, people. 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The running game really wasn't there. I mean, Travis Etienne, 12 for 27, 2.2 yards a carry. You know, Brian Thomas Jr. had 8 for 90. Pete Washington had 2 for 29. Travis Etienne had 4 for 28. The Travis Hunter experiment on offense right now, Travis Hunter had, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 4 catches for 15 yards. And a lot of those are like screens. Look, you're going to have to get open. And I'm not saying he can't get open, but look, I get a Liam Cohen. He wants to continue with the experiment. I think I'm like you, Smith. I think he should probably play more corner than receiver because right now he's just out there and he's another guy. He's not the guy. But this Seattle Seahawks defense, oh my good, they live in that Jacksonville backfield. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if he was holding the ball, waiting on guys to get open. I don't know if he's just patting the football, but Seattle's defense is legit. Big Cat and those guys, they are legit. Ernest Jones, they are legit in Seattle. And when they can play like that on defense and play quality football on offense, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's a top 5 receiver. I'm saying it right now. He's top 5. He is really, really good. This Seattle Seahawks team is saying, look, we know we might let some games get away from us, but you know, with everything, even though San Francisco is going to get some guys back like George Kittle, we'll get to them. They are imploding right now in San Francisco because you don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. And then you start talking about a team like Seattle, they're looking at the Rams saying, we ain't going nowhere. We are not going anywhere. We're going to be battling all year long. But they made the Jags have to rethink because when you plan on high beat, coming off a big, a Monday night win against Kansas City, everything was all good. And Seattle was like, come on back. Just come on back down because you're going to earn it. Liam Cohen is doing good right now. For the first quarter and a half of the season, he's looking good. But you know how it is, Smitty. You don't want to start fast and tail off. You want to kind of even out so you still got some left in the end. But this is all about Seattle. Shout out to Sam Darnold, who's showing I'm not a one-trick pony 1 year last year in Minnesota. I can get it done out there in the Pacific Midwest.
Another West Coast team coming east. It was the Los Angeles Chargers taking down the Miami Dolphins 29-27. Justin Herbert has 18 game-winning drives since entering the NFL in 2020, tied for second with Kirk Cousins and trails only Patrick Mahomes. But it was really after the game, Tua Tagovailoa, his comments yesterday after the game, or maybe today during I think it was yesterday after the game, talking about players-only meetings and some other stuff. And Ben, you're a former player. I'm not, so I will leave this to you. But I think I saw today Andrew Whitworth, former offensive lineman of the Rams and Bengals, essentially said, Tua, that's actually a reflection on you, buddy. That's your leadership that they are not respecting. And that is why you have people late to these player-owned meetings and film sessions and whatnot. So as a former player, thoughts on this game and obviously Tua's comments.
Yeah, this is a better game than advertised. Two of those guys, they stayed into the game. They stayed in, I think they scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. But Tua kind of showed why 29-27 seems closer than what it actually is. Tua's been talking a lot, but Tua seems to say it's like Tua's talking about them and excluding himself. Leadership starts with two people: head coach, quarterback. So when you say a players only meeting, that's you. That means that they don't respect you, Tua. Why would I continue to throw my team under the bus when ain't nobody asked me that? Did anybody ask you about the players only meeting? No, you offered up that information. Did anybody ask you to tell us? And Tua, I'm going to say this, and I agree with Whitworth as well. You're not good enough to be talking like this. Like, and what you saying could be 100% true.
Correct.
But just like on the movie Any Given Sunday with Willie Beeman played by Jamie Foxx, dude, you better remember where you at. Because at a certain point, your teammates like, dude, really, dude? Like, you telling what's the point of having locker rooms? What's the point of having your own organization, private time with your teammates for you to come? The reason why we're losing because the leadership is bad. So there go the general manager, there go the owner, and there go Mike McDaniel. So if Mike McDaniel had any shot of keeping the job, these press conferences are going to seal his fate. Because they're going to say, well, you've already lost the locker room. Keep going. Oh, players are coming late. Okay, what players? Oh, so now you're bringing attention to players that wasn't even had attention brought to them. So when we have heard about this, it was 29-27 Dolphins. Nope. And Tua, you were frustrated, and I get it. Guess who you can't blame it on? Can't blame it on Tyreek no more. Tyreek's gone. He's out for the year. Now people are saying, I don't know if Tua is a captain. If he is that captain behavior? Is that how a captain would act?
I think he is a captain. I'm pretty
sure.
And
I'm Smitty, let me tell you something. If I want to talk to Smitty about something, I have your number. I talk to you about it. I don't come over and say, Smitty, remember we were talking about. You see what I'm saying? So it's the Dolphins. They are definitely imploding. Mike McDaniels will not survive, no matter how the season ends. And guess what, Tua? You signed a huge contract. You're going to be with the Dolphins. If something happens, that they get a new coach, that new coach might not want you. So they might have to trade you. And if you get traded, if somebody's willing to pick up that contract, people going to remember this stuff. It's 31 other teams that can hear you. So yeah. It's the Dolphins, man. The Dolphins are becoming more of a circus than it has to be. And all Tua got to do is keep it about the game and go home. The private conversation you have with your wife in the car and at home, you don't have them in public where we can hear you. Omar Kelly is going crazy right now because of a guy.
Oh, yes. Friend of the show, Omar Kelly. Yep. Let's keep it moving here. Pittsburgh Steelers 23-9 over the Cleveland Browns. A Super Bowl-like defense for the Browns, but not so much on their offensive side of the ball, though. Aaron Rodgers 4-0 with an 11-0 pass touchdown interception ratio, 124 passing rating against the Browns, his best against any team in his career. So, yeah, he's 4-0 against the Browns, completes 70% of his passes, and has 11 touchdowns, 0 picks against the Cleveland Browns all-time in his career. Aaron Rodgers was making Aaron Rodgers type throws in this game. And like I said, 23-9 Pittsburgh. They look like the team to beat in this AFC North division right now.
We talk about throws, right? And how many throws are way too many. 30 is a lot. 40 is ridiculous. Dylan Gabriel was 29 for 52. He threw the ball 52 times.
Yeah.
For 221 yards, no touchdowns. Obviously, Harold Fannin had 7 for 81. Jerry Judy had 5 for 43. Wasn't really much of a run game, but it's all about the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, 21 to 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. The running game, it was okay. DK Metcalf was doing DK Metcalf thing. 4 catches, 95 yards, 23.8 yards a catch. Darnell Washington, 3 for 62. Big Darnell Washington had 3 catches, 62 yards. But here's the stat that stood out the most. TJ Watt was in this game. Myles Garrett was in this game. Jalen Ramsey had 2 sacks. Jalen Ramsey had 2 sacks.
I saw that.
And he talked about it. Aaron Rodgers, look, I apologize to you, sir. You're 42 years old if you haven't turned 42 yet. You are doing things that no one can do at this age and stage of their career but you. Now, well, aside from Tom Brady. Tom Brady is and dare I say, once again, people talk about, and he ain't doing it for the box score. I keep telling you, 21 to 30, 235 yards, 2 touches. I'm just doing enough to get the win. I'm not trying to, I've done everything else. 4-time regular season MVP, Super Bowl MVP. I just want to win the game, move on to the next. I don't care how it looks. I care that you get it done. Shout out to Pittsburgh, but as we know, what makes the Cleveland Browns intriguing is because of the quarterback situation. I'm not talking about Dylan Gabriel. He's doing the best he can, but everybody looking to see if when Shador is going to get in there. I don't know if they're gonna put him in there sooner rather than later. We hope it's because Dylan Gabriel isn't playing well and not because of injury, but it is the Browns. And they do have a win on the season, and the Browns do play the Titans, so that's going to be the brawl for it all. But that's later on.
They somehow beat the Packers, but yeah, we won't.
Yeah. I don't know what Jordan Love and company was doing that day.
The New England Patriots have now won 3 in a row, 25-19 over the New Orleans Saints. They're down in the Bayou home game for Kayshon Boutte, who went receiver who went to LSU and now on New England. But it was Drake May who, under pressure all game, threw 3 touchdown passes in the first half against the Saints. All were deep, 20-plus passes to the left side of the field. 10 of 16, 177 yards versus pressure. 7 of 8 for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half alone.
This Drake May character is better than advertised, as you mentioned. 18 to 26, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Running game was okay, led by Drake May with 9 for 27. To me, you remember Boutte 5 for 93, 2 touchdowns, who's emerging as one of the top receivers, and another one of them LSU guys. LSU just put him out. Douglas had 3 for 71 in a touchdown. You go over to Spencer Rattler, who got his first win of his career last week, but this week 20 to 26, 227 yards. Alvin Kamara, who was in a lot of trade rumors, said, "Look, I'm committed to this team." 10 for 31. Chris Olave 6 for 98. Alvin Kamara 4 for 45. This Drake May and company is playing with confidence, and that's scary for the Bills because they just beat the Bills. The Dolphins are imploding, and the Jets are the Jets. So when people saying, "Are you telling me this team got a shot?" Mm-hmm. That's what Mike Vrabel does. The Patriot way is now through Mike Vrabel because he got the quarterback, he got his offense, he got his defense, he got players that believe in him. But this is about the Saints also not just bowing down. They play really, really tough. But the Saints are always going to run out of gas because you ain't got the type players that are going to keep you in games. Spencer Rattler's doing all he can. But shout out to Drake May, shout out to the New England Patriots. Beat a team like the Bills builds confidence for the rest of the season because you got to see them again. You want to see him again, towards the end of the year. But I've been really, really impressed with Drake May, Smitty. He seems to be a guy that plays within the confines of the game. And I think hopefully the team will start, if you're going to blitz him from his right so he has to roll left. Why? Because the Bills kept blitzing him from the left, forcing him right. He's right-handed. How did that game end up? I'm just some free game. But shout out to the Bills.
All right, 4 games left. Here we go. The corner TV game for a lot of folks. Las Vegas Raiders get the win 20-10 over the Tennessee Titans. I believe this was your toilet bowl from last week.
Yes.
With 1 touchdown pass on Sunday, Cam Ward has just 3 passing touchdowns in his first 6 career starts. Only number 1 quarterback with fewer passing touchdowns through their first 6 career starts since 1970 is Terry Bradshaw, John Elway, and Alex Smith. And as you mentioned, Brian Callahan let go today by the Tennessee Titans. Second-year coach came along for the Cincinnati Bengals, who used to coach Joe Burrow as an offensive coordinator. He selected Will Levis and then selected Cam Ward. So Will Levis was already there. I apologize. He inherited Will Levis and then selected Cam Ward, number 1 overall. So, but he will not get to finish the job, and that'll be the new coach's job, whoever that ends up being there in Nashville. But what thoughts on this game from Las Vegas?
Yeah, well, Geno Smith, 17 to 23, 174 yards, 1 touchdown to pick. Ashton Jeanty, 28 rushes, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Cam Ward, 26 to 38, 222 yards. Tony Pollard, 10 for 34. Van Jefferson led all receivers, 4 for 75. This is about a lack of execution on the Tennessee Titans' part. The score is not indicative of what happened in the game. At a certain point, there are people saying, what is going on with the Titans? What is going on with the offense? What are they doing? As you mentioned earlier, Brian Callahan has been relieved of his head coaching duties. He has moved on. They have moved on for him after a year and 5 games, a year and 6 games.
Yeah, he was in his second year. Yeah.
This Titans team, and I'm going to keep on saying this, where there is no identity, there are also no wins. Cam Ward has potential. Cam Ward has ability. Cam Ward has instincts. Cam Ward needs help. Calvin Ridley and Chigwozium, those guys. You guys got to help them. 3 touchdown passes, meaning guys aren't getting open. 1, not getting open. 2, lack of red zone opportunity. Well, you got to get to the red zone, and you got to be creative when you get to the red zone. Right now, Jeffrey Simmons is giving all he got as defensive tackle for the Titans, but the Titans have no identity. Now that you're going to another coach, now the team doesn't start over, but it is a huge reset, because for the Titans, Smitty, in the AFC South, that thank God for the Colts and the Jags, that entire division, no one cares. Let's be honest. No one cares about the Jags, not nationally. People care about the Colts because people care about the Jags because they got Travis Hunter, and people are gonna fall out of love with that because they expect him to look how he looked in Colorado. No, in Colorado, he was the best athlete on the field. He is an athlete on the field now. That will never ever happen again. The Houston Texans, I mean, we'll see if they can make a run towards the end of the year. And you got the Titans. So for this Titans team, they're gonna have to look in the mirror and understand you get paid checks to play in the National Football League. You're gonna have to get some grit, get some pride, and be led by your work, because right now I feel bad for Cam Ward, because now he's going to go to an interim head coach who's going to try to do all he can to try to keep things. You don't want to keep things the same, but you want to try to add some wrinkles in, some nuance, and hopefully we'll see what happens with them.
No better job than a fire head coach looking at this. Brian Callahan will be making $708,000 per month for the Tennessee Titans until 2029. With just getting paid not to coach is bonkers, but that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. Let's go to Tampa Bay, where Baker Mayfield, as I said, would be my MVP vote right now, even though he plays in our NFC South division, sadly. 30 I lost my screen here. Tampa Bay gets the win to move to 5-1 on the year, 30-19 over the San Francisco 49ers there in Tampa Bay. Buccaneers led for all 30 minutes of the second half in their Week 6 win. Prior to Week 6, the Bucs had been tied or trailing in the final minute in each of their 4 opening wins in 2025, which means, Ben, this was their first victory formation of the season. But more devastating was the loss of Fred Warner for San Francisco 49ers, already losing Nick Bosa for the year. Fred Warner, dislocated, fractured ankle, out for the year as well. That was a Joe Theismann type injury, not one to kind of look at if you're squeamish. And unfortunately, it was friendly fire as well. His own teammate kind of fell on him, and that just was heartbreaking for San Francisco fans and just guys who love to see good linebacker play like I do. Fred Warner is an absolute beast and will be missed.
I mean,
he will be missed. I apologize. He's sorry. That bad choice of words there, people. He is still alive. Bad choice of words there. He's out for the rest of the season. He will be missed by that defense. Yeah. There we
go. The Bucs defense made you talk about taking a win out of somebody. Say, oh, Matt Jones. The last time we seen Matt Jones, it was return of the Mac. The man had a half black, half red suit on, but against the Bucs, 27-39, 347 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, they frustrated him all game. Christian McCaffrey, 17-54 in the touchdown. I mean, he's looked pedestrian. I mean, we mentioned Bourne, 5 for 142. He's emerging as a really, really nice target. But this is about the Bucs. Man, I mean, Baker Mayfield is playing at MVP level, 17-23, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's without Mike Evans. That's without Chris Godwin. Haven't had Chris Godwin all year. Haven't had Mike Evans since like the second or third game of the year. He came out and said, I believe in who we got. White had 17 for 65 yards, a touchdown. Tucker had 6 for 25, and that's without Irvin. So no Mike. So no.
Nothing left in the third quarter.
Yeah. So if Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind now, I know the Todd Bowles told Baker Mayfield, listen, Baker, I love you, love your competitive edge. Don't be taking those hits. Slide. You got to know when the journey is over, man. You still weigh what you weigh. You still, as tall as you are, whatever you are, you still 6 feet, 190, whatever you are. Don't take them hits. And competitive fire only goes so much. Your bones, they 30 years old, 30 or 31, whatever you are. Don't be taking those hits. But he is playing out of his mind, 5-1, looking really, really good in the NFC South right now. Looking really, really good in the NFC and the NFL as a whole. Emeka Egbuka, I mean, he continues to show. Why he's one of the top rookies in the National Football League, but he's dealing with an injury right now. But this is about Fred Warner. I mean, Fred Warner is the gold standard of linebacker. Playing the linebacker position in the National Football League. I mean, played all last year on like a hurt I mean, on had like bone spurs or something in his ankle last year to dislocate his ankle this year. Get well, sir. I mean, it is going. Whoever got to deal with this man in 2026. I mean, but he's going to be out for the year. But shout out to the Bucks, 5-1. Continue to move on. Only lost to the Eagles.
He was 5 tackles away from breaking Patrick Willis's franchise record in tackles. So Fred Warner will most likely get that next year, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, just anyway, it's cut short there. The Green Bay Packers rebound this week after coming off the bye, 27-18 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco with the midweek trade from Cleveland to Cincinnati, so making his first start for the Bengals. But it's actually Matt LaFleur who lost his first 2 post-bye games as a Packer head coach in 2019 and 2020. But the Packers are now 4-1 in buys, post-buys since that time. As well. Forgot to mention in the 49ers game really quick with the Bucks, that was Baker Mayfield's first win over the 49ers in history. He was 0-4 against the 49ers coming into that game. So that was his first win ever against the 49ers. Anyway, so low nugget there.
Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has to go from Cleveland to Cincinnati. He takes out the Cleveland Browns and put on the Bengals orange. He was 45 throws again, 29-45, 2 touchdowns. You know, Brown had 9 for 42. I mean, Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown. T. Higgins had 5 for 62, and T. Hudson had the other touchdown, 4 catches, 10 yards. But the Packers, as you mentioned, they rebound. Jordan Love, 19-26, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Josh Jacobs, 18 for 93, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Matt Golden, 3 for 86, 28.7 yards a catch. Josh Jacobs had 5 for 57. This Packers team rebound really, really nice since they lost to the Cleveland Browns, but This Packers team is looking around, looking at the Detroit Lions, saying, "Hey, man, the Detroit Lions prove they can bleed." We're losing to Kansas City, but this is about the Bengals. The Bengals are going to have to deal with the fact that their quarterback is 40 years old. We traded for a 40-year-old quarterback named Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco proves that the more you can do, the more available you are. So he's gonna do all he can. The Bengals are not gonna be in it. Jamar Chase is gonna still put up Pro Bowl type numbers because outside of him and T. Higgins, you ain't got much to go off of. Trey Henderson, I mean, he's still dealing with an injury right now. He's day to day, but this Bengals team is gonna scratch a claw, literally and figuratively. But it's about the Packers finding a way to stay, atop their division because it's going to come down to Detroit. Chicago's playing well, and Minnesota's going to be there. I mean, you talk about another division that it's anybody's. It's still early in the season. It's anybody's division right now. But I just like to see that Joe Flacco is still showing quality quarterback play is what they pay you for, not making flash plays. Quality, structured, staying ahead of the chains, quarterback play is what they pay you for. That's why 40-year-old Joe Flacco is still getting NFL checks.
And on Sunday Night Football, we saw the Kansas City Chiefs take down the Detroit Lions in Arrowhead 30-17. Lions tight end Sam Laporta's 4-yard touchdown catch in the fourth quarter, one in which he was blanketed by coverage and came away with a one-handed grab, toe tapping in the back of the end zone. Thing of beauty, just a 23.4% completion probability, and he makes it happen. Patrick Mahomes rushed for his 4th touchdown of the year, a team high, and tied for second most among quarterbacks in the league through Sunday night.
Jared Goff, 23 of 29, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs led our rusher 17 for 65. And James Williams had 6 for 66. Laporta, as you mentioned, incredible touchdown, 5 for 55. That toe tap and the one-hander was incredible. But this is all about the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, 22 of 30, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Pacheco, he had 12 for 51. Travis Kelce let people know he can still get over 6 for 78. Jackson Smith-Schuster, he had 3 for 57. And, Hollywood Brown had 4 for 45 and 2 touchdowns. Branch, I don't know what was going on with you and Juju Smith-Schuster after the game. You've lost your mind. He's been suspended. But let me tell you what the Chiefs did to let you know. The Chiefs neutralized Amon St. Brown. They shut the run game down, and they made them play their way. See, good teams still know how to play football. And if you are the Lions, you're saying, hey, man, this was our year, just like about 2 or 3 years ago, we played the first game of the year and beat them. Nope. Kansas City said, we ain't going quietly into the night. We are not done. I know the season hasn't started off the way we want, but it's what you do against quality opponents. Detroit got beat down by Kansas City. And you can respect, look, Both running backs, Montgomery Gibbs shut down. Amon St. Brown, he had like 9 catches, like 45 yards. So it was pedestrian at best. Outside Laporta, incredible touchdown catch. They neutralized them all game, so much so that Branch gets into a fight with Juju, so he's going to get fined and suspended for the next game. When the game was nothing screams a beatdown when you're trying to win a fight at the end of the game. Man, shake the man's hand and go on. And if you can't handle trash talk, don't play sports. But shout out to Kansas City. They look good. I mean, they looked good last night. And it's not that Detroit isn't a good team. It's just Kansas City have to remind people, hey, we ain't done until we are out of playoff contention. So while y'all one of the best teams in the NFC, we still one of the best teams in the world. Play with us.
All right. Well, that is our week 6 recap through the Sunday night games. 2 games currently going on in Monday Night Football. Once again, Ben's Atlanta Falcons are beating the Buffalo Bills 21-14 with 6:43 to go in the fourth quarter. Atlanta just got the ball back, and we'll see if they're able to hang on for a victory or not. We'll see, or maybe even overtime. And then 13-7 Bears over the Washington Commanders there in DC, just starting in the second half there in DC, as I said. Week 7, top 5 games to watch, including our toilet bowl as well. Let's get on to it here as we get to week number 7. The primetime games, before I give my list, Steelers, Bengals is the Thursday night football. And then I guess I'm going to count the London game. Rams, Jaguars in London is the standalone London game. And then Sunday night football, Ben's Falcons travel to the San Francisco 49ers there in Santa Clara. And then the Monday night doubleheader next week, Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions, Texans at the Seattle Seahawks. So those are the 2 Monday night doubleheaders for next week. Primetime games. All right, top 5 games to watch here in week number 7. Number 5 on this list, give me Rams Jaguars from London. I think that's going to be a great football game. 2 teams at 4-2. Someone's going to obviously get to 5-2. Rams coming off a statement game against the Baltimore Ravens, traveling east and getting that huge victory. Jaguars coming off a loss in which they didn't play very well. Both teams then traveling across the pond. I think that's going to be a good game and pretty evenly matched teams, if I'd say so myself. So Rams Jaguars, number 5 on this list. Number 4, Eagles-Vikings. I know Carson Wentz is still starting right now for the Vikings until J.J. McCarthy comes back, but the Eagles and Vikings both need this win badly, and I think these are 2 pretty evenly matched teams overall. It's in Minnesota, and I think that's going to be a good game. My number 3 on this list, give me Falcons 49ers. Sunday night football there in Santa Clara. Buffalo or Falcons may or may not be getting a win against Buffalo Monday night. If they do tonight, then this game becomes even bigger for the Falcons next week. They're in Santa Clara. I think it's going to be a tough game for them either way, but we'll enjoy that one on Sunday night football. Number 2 on this list, give me a kind of underrated game, Colts-Chargers. They're in LA. The 5-1 Colts, 4-2 LA Chargers. Can Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, get to 6-1 on the year? They got to go back to SoFi Stadium, played the Rams earlier this year where they lost. Can they get revenge and get an actual win in SoFi Stadium this time, but against the Chargers, the other LA team? And then my number 1 is the Buccaneers Lions on Monday Night Football there in Detroit, the Motor City. Baker Mayfield and company trying to get to 6-1, beat up, and the Lions coming off that crucial loss on Sunday night against Kansas City. And then my toilet bowl, if I have to give one, it's going to be Dolphins-Browns. I mean, good gosh, in Cleveland, that's going to be a corner TV game if I ever saw one. Those fan bases may not want to tune into that game, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and get my toilet bowl game out the way. I agree, it's Dolphins Browns. I mean, people pay good money for their subscriptions. They got to be able to watch this game. It's gonna be the battle of the who cares. I mean, maybe Shador might end the game. But my number 5, Giants Broncos. Giants coming off a huge win against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you talk about a Broncos team, that scratch and claw with an ugly win. It was a defensive game by the Jets. Can Jackson Dart, do in year 1 what Bo Nix was doing as a rookie, go out there, get a big win. I mean, out there in Mile High, I think it's going to be a good one. My number 4, Rams Jags. This Rams team plays tough. They're gonna have to play without Puka Nacua, so it's gonna be a lot of Tutu Atwell. It's gonna be a lot of Devontae Adams. We'll see what happens with that game. Matthew Stafford, versus Trevor Lawrence. A former number one pick. Even though Matthew Stafford was the number one pick a long time ago, he's trying to find a way to get it done. My number 3, Coach Chargers. Danny Dimes. Oh, I'm sorry. Indiana Jones versus Justin Herbert. That should be a really, really good one. You talking about two teams with big time postseason aspirations, and both teams trying to vie to win their division. I think that's going to be a really, really good one. My number 2, Eagles Vikings. Man, Eagles, you got to get an ugly taste out your mouth. I mean, that was an ugly loss. You got dominated by the Giants, and you're going to have to go out there and prove you are. I mean, Cooper DeJean said, listen, he's always talking about the comeback story, people counting them out, which I don't think nobody's counting the Eagles out, but people use all kind of motivation. And my number 1 is your number 1, Bucks, Lions. You got two teams that want to play. I mean, I don't think Baker Mayfield's going to be in the game, but Baker Mayfield said he believes in whoever's going to run out there. You talk about former number 1 overall picks again, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. This is for NFC supremacy right now, even though it's this early in the season. Should be a good one on Monday night. Bucks, Lions, and as we mentioned, the toilet bowl game, Dolphins, Browns.
Well, we are up against it here on Winning the Division. That'll be our Week 6 recap and Week 7 preview looking ahead. We will be back next week to recap and preview once again for Ben Troupe. I am Ryan Smith. Remember, we say here on Winning the Division, you are either in your division like the Browns are currently, or you are winning your division, and that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in our NFC South right now for us Panther and Falcon fans out there here in Winning the Division. For Ben Troupe, I'm Ryan Smith. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and we will see you next time.